And this is Total Sport on BBC Radio Newcastle. So, not only were there 3 valuable Premier League points up for grabs last night at West Ham, but so was the opportunity to go into a Wembley final on the back of a league victory, which is something that Newcastle actually haven't done since 1952.
And Kudus here cuts inside away from Cher, then goes back on the outside, delivers a dangerous ball. Souček over the bar. It's a massive chance early on. Jared Bowen, chance to cross from the right. Another clearance that they couldn't complete. Bruno runs into the box, slips it through. Harvey Barnes misses the target at the near side. Lifted over to Trippier, might hit this. It's helped towards goal and then saved by Areola low down. And West Ham with Bowen in the box. Jared Bowen straight at Popey, spilled it and then gathered it at the feet of Kudus towards the back of the 6-yard box, headed back over, and a good save again from Areola low down left hand side. Dan Burn back across, and Harvey Barnes with his second effort, but Areola makes another important save. The ball from Bruno, Murphy gets there, flag stays down, Murphy's cross, it's what a save, and then Isak following up, it's gone over to Tonali, swept over, whipped over to Barnes on his right, chips it in, it's there, they've scored, it's Bruno, and the Newcastle United captain scores at the London Stadium. He's come in for criticism recently. He's just delivered a big goal. 63 minutes played, West Ham United 0, Newcastle United 1. Kudus has crossed towards the back post. Trippier, important header. But only as far as Lucas Paquetá into the box. Big header from Bird. Massive piece of defending. Lucas Paquetá lifts it in. Pope punches. He's off his line. West Ham try and get there. Now the West Ham goal is clear. Murphy forwards, but it's intercepted on halfway. Couldn't find Willock.
A huge win for us. Huge win in our season, Premier League season. We needed it. It had a bit of a rocky period of form for us. We had some tough fixtures in there, of course, but today was everything that I wanted it to be. It wasn't a brilliant performance, but it was determined. It was disciplined, high motivation from the players, and all this in spite of the cup final, which obviously looms ahead for us. So brilliant effort from the players.
Eddie Howe with his thoughts. You'll hear a bit more from the Newcastle head coach in a moment. And yeah, I think those words he used there, Ray, is in spite of the cup final. That makes last night all the more satisfying. There was no switching off, there was no shirking from the physical confrontations, and yeah, it was a scrappy win, perhaps you would call it. Not the prettiest football, but they got the win, and it's great to go into Sunday on the back of a win.
Yeah, I'm not sure how the feeling would be if they hadn't won last night, or even if they lost, because that would not have been ideal. So to get the win, and like you say, Pridey, not in perhaps the most entertaining style, it was a pretty awful match really, but there were some good things from Newcastle, definitely some strong individual performances which we'll come on to. It was just so important to get the positivity that comes with winning, and they found a way to get the result last night against a West Ham team that have struggled this season, but they picked up under their new manager. They'd won 2 games in a row. You wouldn't want to be watching them play every week though, because yeah, they've clearly still got some problems. I think Newcastle just had to do enough last night, and they did enough last night to get a big result. And it's also a match, I think, at the start of this huge week with Wembley at the end of it, that probably a lot of people, a lot of supporters just wanted out of the way. I didn't sense a lot of excitement going into last night. There was probably a bit of trepidation really because of the injuries and the problems they had last week, fear of there being more issues like that, uncertainty over how the game was going to go, knowing that Wembley was bigger. But actually it ended up being a very good night for them, and yeah, something that they can look back on with positivity, even if it wasn't, like I say, the most entertaining 90 minutes.
What was the Ando verdict?
Just what Razor said, it was a real poor game, but it was a massive 3 points. I think when you look at how tight it is at the top of that league, you can go down as far as Fulham. Results didn't go for us at the weekend, so it was hugely important that we got a result last night. I suppose all you can really say about it is that we won. We didn't play well. West Ham didn't play well. It was a poor game. It was a poor game on the night between two poor sides. Yes. There wasn't I don't think there was a great deal to take out of it. The only positive thing that you can really take out of it is the fact that we won, and as I say, it was a massive 3 points in the scale of things when you look at how tight that league is. I mean, you know, all of a sudden we've gone level with Manchester City again. So even though there's a cup final to play this weekend, last night was a huge game for us, and it was hugely important that we got something out of it. And by hook or by crook, we managed to do that. You know, we didn't play particularly well, but they worked hard. You know, they gave it what they had. But it was, as I say, big 3 points. There wasn't many chances in the game, to be fair, you know.
No.
So
they took the one that counted. Bruno
absolutely.
Guimaraes, the match winner. Eddie Howe was full of praise for his skipper.
He loves to score, really loves to score, and I love that about Bruno, because he wants to get in the box, he wants to make the decisive contributions to our team. Thought he did today in every respect. Thought our midfield was excellent, actually, with Bruno and Sandro and Joe Linton. Great to see him back and playing so well. I think they were fundamentally important to our win.
Took it well, timed his run to perfection, then he got on the end of it, poked it home. Sort of goal that you want to see him scoring. So anyway, we've lost Ando. So I mean, Razor, I don't know how.
Oh well,
in the same studio as the person that's telling me that he's gone. But anyway, go on, Razor. You can answer that instead of Ando.
Yeah, no problem. I think, and I asked Eddie Howe the question about Bruno, and that's the answer we've just listened to, because I referenced it after the goal went in. He's had some criticism recently. Ando's given his analysis of Bruno's recent performances, did so after the Liverpool match, and we know that we've debated that on Total Sport over the last couple of weeks. You look on social media and there have been some critics of Bruno's recent displays, but he's such an important player for the team. There's one thing that you know about Bruno: he certainly cares and he tries, and there was plenty of that last night. He was really committed in the game, determined to help Newcastle win, and then had a moment of quality to finish off the chance to make sure he was onside, get the right sort of touch on Barnes' good ball in after he had an initial shot blocked. So it was a huge moment delivered by the captain, a huge player, big lift for him personally ahead of Wembley.
You haven't gone, have you, Ando, just because you had a bad day at Cheltenham? You're still there, aren't you?
I'm still here, Friday, yeah, I'm still here. Look, I think it's an interesting comment that Eddie Howe made, saying that Bruno loves to score, he enjoys scoring. He's only scored 3 goals all season.
Well, yeah, doesn't mean he doesn't love it. I mean, it doesn't happen as often as he'd like, but when it does happen, he loves it. But you want to see more from him. Should he be getting? I don't know. What should he be getting? A player in his position, a player of his calibre, should be getting 8 or 9?
I think we should be scoring more goals from midfield, not just Bruno Guimaraes, but Tonali, Joe Linton. I think we need to score more goals from those positions. I think we rely really heavily on Isak, and the fact that he can do that and he can create chances for other people as well. But yeah, we need to score more goals from midfield. But look at. There was decent performances last night. I didn't think there was anybody who was really outstanding, but as I said earlier, everybody worked their socks off. You could see that there wasn't any thought of a cup final in anybody's mindset. They knew how important that game was, and they gave it everything that they had, and it was a big win. And it was good to see him get into those advanced positions, because he doesn't do enough of that for me. I think he showed when he first arrived that he can score goals when he gets in there, but he hasn't done enough of that. He needs to do more.
Okay.
Just
Harvey
on the numbers,
Barnes,
goals from midfield, Bruno 3, Tonali 3, Joe Linton 4, so 10 between them, the 3 that started last night. Willock's got 3, they've all come in the cups. Longstaff hasn't scored this season, Miley's got 2.
Okay. So yes, Harvey Barnes and Tino Livramento formed a new look left-hand side last night, and Eddie Howe was impressed by their performances.
Harvey was outstanding. Got a really good assist and a bit of quality that swung us the game, and that's what you're looking for from your creative players. But not just that. I thought he looked a threat. I thought he did really well with Tino Livramento. I thought he was outstanding at left back. So in the absence of two really important left-sided players for us, I thought they stepped up and did really well.
Yes, I think Eddie Howe has commented as well that he thinks that Tino Livramento is perhaps Razor as effective even on that side as he is on the right.
Yeah, well, I put it to the manager after the match that Livramento played well at left back last season. I think most of his best games were at left back last season when Trippier was at right back, and this was before Lewis Hall broke into the team and finished so strongly at the end of last season. And Livramento offers that versatility. Now, last night and probably at Wembley, maybe we'll discuss this in a second, whether last night's starting 11 will be Sunday's starting 11, assuming there are no injuries in training ahead of Wembley. You've got Livramento, who's right-footed, and Barnes, who wants to cut in on his right all the time. Now, I know Anthony Gordon does that as well, but you would then have Lewis Hall, usually the left-footed option, who can go on the outside, and they lacked a natural left-sided player in that position. So they were cutting in a lot, and maybe that slowed down some of the attacks when they got into good positions in the final third. Livramento would cut back, they'd play short passes, but they perhaps lose any advantage they had. West Ham would get set, but Livramento gets them forwards quickly. Strong runner, loves to run, and will drive forwards. And I was bigging up last night before the match, and shows what I know, Willock and Joelinton on the left, and it was Barnes who got the nod. Really pleased that he played a key role. He had two good chances to score, got into the centre, gets into those positions. He's always a goal threat, and then laid on the winner for Bruno with that cross. I'm really pleased he played well, because if he starts at Wembley, he could be the match winner, because he will always give you a moment. He will always create an opening for himself or for somebody else. So those were the decisions he made. He had other options last night, Livramento and Barnes, and yeah, they may have the chance to play again together on Sunday. So having the chance to work for 90 minutes last night at West Ham could be really useful towards that.
Were you happy enough with the way that left-hand side worked last night, Ando?
Yeah, I said last night when we seen the team, I said that I think that will be the team that starts at Wembley on Sunday. I think Livramento just fits in there, as Razor said, we've seen him play at left back last season. He's got no problem doing it. Barnes wants to play on that left hand side, even though he's naturally right sided. He was unlucky on a couple of occasions. Areola's made two decent saves from him. Instinctive efforts. The keeper's got down well to stop both of them. I thought it worked all right, and you had Joe Linton filling in there as well. He got back into those defensive areas to help Livramento out as well. So I don't really have a problem with that, because even though they're not naturally left-sided, they look comfortable playing there. So I said at the time when we seen the team, I said it was a big opportunity for Harvey Barnes, because I think in the game so far this season, the biggest impact he's really had is when he's come on as a substitute, and he's made huge impacts coming off the substitutes bench. But I thought last night he did well down that left side. Tired a little bit because he hasn't played a great deal of football, but he did himself no harm at all last night. And as I said, I'd be amazed if it wasn't the same starting 11 that starts against Liverpool on Sunday afternoon.
Well, the Magpies are 6th now, 2 points off Chelsea, who are 4th. Eddie Howe says it is a big confidence boost ahead of Sunday.
I think it's what we needed before the cup final. We needed a lift, especially with the recent news, as we've already discussed. We needed confidence in the team. I think we've got that. I never doubted it personally, but I think players always need to see the results of that. Today was the perfect game for us. We had to defend really, really well. You always do when you have to come to West Ham. We had to deal with set plays, but I thought we controlled the majority of the game. We had the best chances to score. Yeah, very pleased.
So, yeah, And anyhow, yeah, a happy man with that result last night. Anything else, Razor, that you feel we should be talking about this evening after last night's game and looking ahead as well?
Well, a couple of things. I'll just pick up on the situation in the Premier League table. It's good as well because there are Premier League matches this weekend. Obviously, Newcastle don't have one because they're playing in the Cup final. Aston Villa, who are 2 points behind them, they don't play either. Villa have actually played a game more along with Liverpool. So if they drop, they won't drop as far as they did this weekend when they had to wait until Monday night. Bournemouth and Brighton could overtake them. Bournemouth got Brentford at home. Brighton are away to Manchester City. That has implications ahead of Newcastle in the table because they're level on points with City. So it's important last night for that reason as well. And if you view West Ham as a standalone game in the race for Europe, they needed to win because they dropped from 6th to 9th. They're back up there now, and hopefully they'll be able to just about maintain that through the international break before coming back for their next Premier League match, which isn't for 22 days, when they play Brentford at home at the beginning of next month, because it's FA Cup at the end of the month, international week, and obviously they've got the cup final this weekend. So I just think in the terms of the table, last night was absolutely massive. It really was.
Yeah, I think as far as last night goes, the result was huge. It was a massive 3 points. I think there's going to be an awful lot of twists and turns before the end of the season. You know, everybody's going to take points off each other. You would think there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs. All you can do is really just keep looking after yourself. But yeah, it's really tight. You know, you just need to keep winning games and hope that other teams drop the games. And as Razor said, we haven't got another league game for an eternity. You know, so we'll be keeping an eye on the results at the weekend in the league.
And we'll be keeping an eye tonight, Brady, on the second leg of Liverpool PSG. It's at Anfield, 8 o'clock kick-off. Liverpool 1-0 up.
Yeah, PSG to win 1-0, goes to extra time and then goes to penalty.
Yeah, that's what you want. I know that's what you want. Yeah. You never know. It could happen. PSG with a better team in the first leg, of course, so they'll certainly have something to say about it tonight, you would imagine. Don't go anywhere just yet, Razor, because you might want to hear this. It's going to be a first play on Total Sport. I know it's gone out on social media. It's on the BBC Radio Newcastle Facebook page. But yeah, Ando, I mean, we talked about it as a bit of a collaboration. There's not much of you on it, to be honest. But you got together, didn't you, with MC Tazo a few days ago. He's recorded his cup final song, hasn't he? So you were part of that.
Yeah, we're going to duet.
Okay, well let's just we've got the Sunderland team news coming up very shortly, but just before that, I'm sure Sunderland fans will be loving to hear this. Here is a little bit of MC Tazo and his Wembley 2025 effort. Here it is.
Newcastle United, back in Wembley. Is it our time to win a trophy? Is it our destiny? I really think it's time, it's for us, it's meant to be. I can see the lads going for it, do you all agree? Just look at this team, each player is amazing. Too many names to mention, doesn't stop me praising. We got goals from everywhere, our defence is like a rock. I wouldn't take us for granted, if you do you'll get a shot. We're Isaac in attack, there's no holding back. He will score the goals we need and you know that's a fact.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. You know, he's a poet, isn't he? He's a modern day poet. He's getting, you know, he's giving us the feel of
poet.
Wembley feel. Yes, a lyricist. I mean,
there's a lot of words
to the words, Marco.
Back, isn't there? But anyway.
Yeah. So, what do you think, Ando? I mean, you've heard a bit already, I know, but what do you think? We happy with that?
Yeah. Wait till you hear the duet.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to that.
Ando, I didn't hear a bit.
Yeah.
No. Is there a bit with you on or not? I'm confused now.
No,
there's not. All right. Well, there should be.
Brady, Ando is in the video because it starts off with MC Tazo getting his suit measured for Wembley, and Ando's the tailor with the tape measure.
Do you know what I hate about that? That everyone associates that with Dan Burn now, which is fair enough. He said it, but it was Gaza that said it first. People should remember that. And his suit measured back in 1991. Gaza said it.
Yeah, but he wasn't playing for us, was he?
No, that's true. It wasn't the prettiest to watch, but the result was good. Newcastle United beat West Ham by 1-0. That means they go into the Carabao Cup final on the back of a victory. It also means they move back up to 6th in the Premier League, just behind Manchester City on goal difference. Bruno Guimaraes got the goal. What did you make of the performance? What did you make of Harvey Barnes and Livramento down the left-hand side? Do give us a call. 0800 234 6565 is the number. I'll read some of your messages in a moment as well. 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp and 81333 on text. Please start your messages with the letters BBC.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Let me just read out some of your comments and then we'll have a chat to Eddie, who's a Newcastle supporter waiting to speak to us. But Brian's message to say 3 points important, Ando, but can't fool ourselves that beating the 16th place team is a turnaround in form, so we're going to have to improve a lot to win the cup, thinks Brian. Billy's in Jarrow. Evening, Billy. But he says Livramento's no good, Ando, on the left-hand side. He's always got to cut back. It's just not good enough, says Billy. So Eddie Howe likes him there, but Billy doesn't.
Yeah, he likes to drift inside. He's the one thing about Livramento is he's a good athlete. He's got good pace, but he does like to drift inside. On the odd occasion, he drifts inside and he gets caught on it, and that's when all of a sudden we can end up in trouble. But I think he does okay at left back. You know, it's not his natural position, but I still think he does a job there.
And Carol says Ando's on Bruno's case again. Don't know that you were really, Ando, were you? Anyway, but he drove, I don't know, but he drove the team last night. Without him, we wouldn't have won, says Carol. I don't recall you being on his case as such.
Well, people just hear what they want to hear, don't they? You know, you can't have an opinion if, you know, it's okay to have a go at the likes of Willock and, you know, criticise Willock and Longstaff and Murphy, but there's certain players who, if you have an opinion on and think they're not playing well, people think you're automatically having a go at them, which isn't really the case. You're just airing a view that everybody's entitled to. And I wasn't having a go. I wasn't on his case at all last night. So she should listen to what I was. She should listen to what I was saying.
Yes, Carol.
I haven't had a good day, so be very careful.
He's volatile, Carol. It's a good job they won last night, because if they'd lost and you'd had today and the rugby at the weekend, it would have been a triple whammy. Then I wouldn't have liked to imagine the consequences. Anyway, you could have done a bit of angry MCing, Tazo style, couldn't you? Eddie's on the line anyway. Not Eddie Howe, but Eddie, Newcastle fan. Hello, Eddie. How you doing?
Hello, guys. You okay?
Hey, Eddie.
What was your verdict, Eddie, last night?
It wasn't a pretty match as everyone, you know, saw it. But I'm just glad we got the 3 points. You know, if I have to choose, either play pretty football or not pretty but get the 3 points, and I'll take the 3 points every time. You know, so
yeah.
And as Ando was saying, you know, the win is probably the best outcome we could hope for before the final this Sunday. You know, so I think. Anywhere you look at it is a good way to end last night and then concentrate on Sunday. You know, there's no other better way to win the match. You know, so yeah.
Yeah, look, it's at the stage of the season now where, because everything's so tight, it's all about results. You know, it's not so much about performances. It's about just digging results out, and that's what we did last night. It wasn't pretty, it wasn't spectacular, but it was a clean sheet. You know, and clean sheets have been something in recent weeks we found really difficult to keep. You know, we haven't.
Keep one on Sunday, you'll be happy, wouldn't you?
Hey, listen, Pridey, if Sunday's game's identical to last night's and the result is identical, everybody will be more than happy. Nobody will care what the game was like. It's all about just winning games. And cup finals are exactly the same. It doesn't matter how you win them. It's all about who wins it. And if we can do what we did last night, keep it tight, not give goals away, and sneak at 1-0, and it's an awful game, nobody will care.
Exactly.
And I include myself in that as well.
Yeah, I agree. Can I just ask quickly, if let's say if Liverpool wins, right, and they are obviously guarantee going to go into Champions League football next season, what's going to happen? Because obviously, they're not going to go to Europa League, are they? By winning the cup. So would there be extra space from the league table?
That's something I haven't looked up. It's a good point, actually. I don't know whether that extra place then goes to an additional league side or not. I'm not sure. I would imagine it probably would do, or does it? I don't think it goes to the losers of the cup final. If we were to get beaten on,
no, it doesn't.
No, I don't think we would automatically then get that place. So it must go.
It always just goes down to the next team down.
Yeah.
That's how it works. It's the same for. It used to be the case back in the day that FA Cup final is if the winners had qualified for Europe by other means, the runners-up would get into Europe, but that doesn't happen in the FA Cup now anymore either. It's basically any spare places go to the next team down in the league, basically, Eddie.
So it could be 10 teams in Europe.
Yeah. Could be halfway down the league and you're playing European football. Yeah.
Oh well.
Thank you very much indeed, Eddie.
Okay,
any excuse?
We'll try to see you guys on Sunday. Okay.
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
Yes. There'll be a good few thousand others there as well. But we're going to be on Wembley Way. From 10 o'clock in the morning, Matt Bailey will be there. So if you are going to Wembley at the weekend and you're getting to the ground nice and early, see if you can find Matt. Come and have a chat there. I'll be in the stadium from 2 o'clock. We'll be building up to the 4:30 kickoff in a big way. It's the only place really you can build up all day, sample the atmosphere. If you're not lucky enough to be able to go to London, to be going to Wembley to watch the cup final, BBC Radio Newcastle is absolutely the place to be, because we'll have all of the atmosphere. You'll hear from the people that matter. You'll hear from Eddie Howe and from players in the course of our build-up, and you'll also hear from lots of supporters who've made their way down to Wembley. I have been speaking to a supporter that was at the 1955 FA Cup final at Wembley. I spoke to him today, and I'm going to play that interview out later this week and again on Sunday ahead of the match. He was great to talk to. His name's Ken. Evening, Ken, if you're listening. And he's got vivid memories of 1955. He's off to Wembley on Sunday as well, so we'll hear from him. All sorts of other people as well. We'll just bring you the full flavour of everything that is happening up until kick-off, and then Razor and Ando and Steve Howie with the full 90 minutes, extra time if required as well. You won't miss a kick, and then reaction afterwards too. This is BBC Radio Newcastle. Looking forward tonight to Sunderland's game against Preston North End in the Championship. Let's have a crack on with the infamous, the one and only Mackem Cabby. How are you doing, MC?
Infamous, I love it. Thanks for having me on. How are you guys? You alright?
Yeah, good.
First of all, I just want to say to Ando, are you nervous for Sunday?
No, not yet. Still early in the week, to be fair. I think
he doesn't get nervous. He don't get nervous.
No. Sunday morning probably, but yeah, I'm fine. I'm okay at the moment. But Sunday morning I might get a couple of butterflies, but that'll be as nervous as it'll be, I suppose. But looking forward to it, I have to say.
This message is from Dave, who's in Prudhoe. Don't worry about the news about Manchester United Stadium. They might not be able to afford their squad in a year's time, let alone a £2 billion stadium. Their financial figures just make a mockery of the stadium plans, says Dave. I mean, it's nuts what's going on there. The amount they still pay in interest, and the whole thing with what the Glazers did, basically mortgaging the club. It's incredible. How much money the Glazers will eventually have made out of Manchester United? Yeah, it's going to be absolutely extraordinary back then, because they basically bought the club, mortgaged it, and then so the club pays back all the money that they used to borrow it. But the stadiums. Interesting financial times. I mean, Jim Ratcliffe did all these interviews, didn't this round of interviews? When, to be fair, nothing was off the table. He answered all the questions. But he was trying to explain why they're making all these cuts and making all these redundancies, etc. But I
think he said he's put 300 million in and it's all gone.
Yes, and he said he did that in January, I think, didn't he?
Yeah.
And it's all gone. He said that's gone. So it's a black hole, isn't it? If you're investing money. I mean,
they've not only got a billion pounds debt, they actually spent £1 billion on players, don't they, in the last few years?
They've kept spending big.
So, but I suppose that tells you that they have huge revenue. It's the revenue that keeps it going. But how they ever get to pay off that debt, I mean, I feel a bit sorry for this Jim Ratcliffe because he's gone in there and he only owns, is it about 30% or something he has? They've still got the majority shareholding.
Yeah, the Glazers
He could end up being somebody else coming in.
He could end up being the fall guy.
Yeah. I mean, it's a strange situation and
very odd.
I mean, look, we've got the football governance bill going through, but you look at these scenarios like this where how can a club with such history, great support, and then they end up with people who, like you say, they buy the club by by taking a loan out on it themselves. It's
massively frustrating for the supporters, certainly. This one's from Terry, who's in Sunnyside. I can't believe nobody has mentioned this. Tonali, 100% of tackles won, which is amazing in any game. Come on, lads, do your homework. No need to, Terry, when you're doing it for us. But 100% of tackles won is a pretty impressive statistics, even for someone like Ando, who doesn't like statistics.
Yeah, fair play to him. I didn't know that, but I don't know
how many tackles there were, but he tends to get involved, so I would imagine that's quite a few.
Yeah, there was a couple last night. Yeah, a couple of meaty 50-50s as well. Yeah, it was good to see.
Ando, thank you very much indeed. It's
Cheers,
Steve
guys.
Howie tomorrow, isn't it? You're coming back on Thursday.
I am.
You've swapped again, haven't you? Okay. So we look forward to talking to you again then. Thanks very much indeed for now.